Hello, this is Mary in Spokane once again. We're just going to give another example today of how to use the RFID tools to find a part. So I'm going to give you a quick look at my cycle count. And I've got this little star here. I've picked out the FW2359 GBN FYG that we're -1 on to show you. So we're going to go ahead and start by go into Work Queue Manager under the RFID field there. I'm going to go ahead and put that part number in here real quick. Oops. All right, and I'll go put my branch in real quick as well, so it's specific to us. Hit Find Tags. I'm going to again sort by the snapshot ID, and we're going to scroll down to the snapshot I'm working on, which is 21463. Starts up here, goes all the way down. If you counted those, we would be one short on what the inventory tells us we have and what we counted when we scanned. I wanted to draw your attention to the disposition. You'll note here that those are all a PO. Our system will only record the last scan of a part. So if a part went out on an order, scanned out, and then the customer returned the part, it would only record that credit and not the actual scan out of the order. So again, it only will remember the last time it was scanned. If it's done manually, it will not record here. So it's really important that your people are using the scanning process in every transaction they can. That would be including on the restock. And I think I may have an example here of that here. Yeah, right here is where one of our stockers used the gun to restock, and here again. So you can see where that's trackable. If they didn't use that restock option on their gun, you wouldn't have that information recorded, and the tracking becomes a little bit more difficult the less we do electronically. So just wanted to show you that real quick. In this case, we're short one, so we're not going to be able to find that through this because it's not going to ping an extra part, right? So I'm going to use my error reports and also general work viewer to try to identify where this part is and what might have happened with it. So I'm going to go into general work viewer. Oops. Maybe. There we go. And put my branch in. And I only have to go back a little ways, not too far, because I've done cycles, and this is so you'd only really have to go back as far as a cycle. But I'm going to go ahead for a start is to look from August forward and put in that part number again. It was a 2359. It was a GBN FY. And search. So what I'm doing here, I think I'll go ahead and sort by the running total. I'm just going to look for anything that jumps out at me of concern of why I could possibly be short a part. And the first thing I'm noticing is this order here. You'll notice it was canceled, which could be a problem, could not be a problem. I'm going to scroll over and see if there's any notes of why, and it does show a warehouse error. So somebody was specifically went looking for that error, right? It's not going to default to that by itself. Scroll back over here. I'm going to get that order number. I'm just going to copy that out. And we're going to look at this. It may or may not be the problem, but I'm going to start here because that's the only thing I see that's jumping out at me that could pose a problem during this time frame. So I think I'm going to go into my open orders and take a look at this another way and see if I can find anything that stands out on that as well. Specifically if it was driver or CSR, and that'll help me identify if, where to go from there. So in this case, it was confirmed on 10/19, written on 10/14. So several days later, it should have. This is a local run, so it should have been posted by a driver, probably within a 24-hour time frame. And looks like Gloria Hannon, which is one of my CSRs, is the one that posted that. Now she typically wouldn't take a route. She could, but typically she'd be in house here. The other thing I would just want to make sure to see who the customer is. So that's a local run. So it should have been handled again. Easily within a 24-hour period. I've already got the DR still copied, so I'm going to go into my email, into my RFID folder that I keep all my error reports. Looks like I've already done this, but I'm going to paste it in there, and I'm going to see if anything pings an error. And it did. So we have this error here. This is likely my fix. That was specific to that order number, so we know that that part was scanned out onto a truck. But when it came back in, there was an error. So that's a good sign that we may have found our problem. Let's go into that. So it does say unexpected part that arrived on the truck. And it was, that it was not detected on the truck and it was expecting it. So the part was dropped to the customer, right? As it comes back in and gets scanned back at the branch, because it was canceled and not delivered, we're having this error because the truck is saying, hey, or the scanner is saying, hey, it should have come back with that truck when it got scanned back in. So we now identified with that part, that's the reason we're missing a part. So let me get out of this one and I'll show you where I fixed it. I just emailed myself here so I have a record of why or what happened. So the part was canceled. I noted that it was on the cycle count that we found it, and then I was going to invoice the customer for that part, which in case I did, and I can show you that here real quick in the open while we're in open orders here. Sorry, this glass coat. Oops, don't typically use this laptop, so I'm a little fumbly with it. I'll go back a few days when I had it done. Alright, so this is my fix. You'll see that that's done on my sign on the 17th is where I fixed it. So the nice part about that is I can fix this, invoice the customer, which rightfully so, they should be invoiced for it, and I don't take that hit on our cycle count. And I just noted the DR, that the part was delivered, not invoiced. I also noted that I found it on an error report and that we were short the one on the cycle, just to kind of give a record that there was a process before I invoiced them to know that they received the part. So that is another example of how we can use some of our RFID tools to either find, in this case find, or identify if a customer needs credit or why we have an overage. And hopefully that'll help you with some of your cycle counts.